Hello, welcome back to the channel. Deplete the Fleet 9, and hopefully at the end of this one we should be turning the key on the Focus. Whether it starts and runs or not is a different matter altogether, but intentions are good, aren't they? So let's see what's first. I want to clean all this sort of sealing surface off, some brake cleaner. Got a new wet belt kit because it was about 100 quid cheaper than a chain conversion. You know, it's be fine, it'll last. Well, this one lasted 10 years, didn't it? So fucking hell, plenty of time, plenty of life left in that new belt. Only thing I've noticed is this fuel pump, high pressure pump, seems to be a bit fucking loose. Like, pumps I've done in the past have like a tight spot and then they'll go slack, then a tight spot, they'll go slack. That's just sort of slack all the way around. I'm hoping the pump hasn't been damaged, you know, when that belt's gone, but who knows. We'll chuck it back together and yeah, deal with that if we need to. Let's do it. Alright, how's it going? You get the picture, I think, there, don't you? Right then, got the belt on. Now there is a couple of marks. A red one there that lines up with that notch. One here that lines up with this one. And there's one down here that lines up with a notch on the crank. But the pulley on the fuel pump hasn't got a key weight or anything on it. So I don't think this fuel pump's timed anyway. So I'm just gonna wind this tensioner in now. Lovely. Now I reckon a couple of Torx bits to do up, and that'll be that. Right, we've got lower cover on now. I'm just using this crank pulley, nip that up just to line it up so that the seal is, hopefully, the crank seal is nice and square behind it. Last thing I want is that to start pissing out. So now I'm just gonna whip this off and then do up the rest of the bolts. At least the rest of the ones I can get to with this. And then the ones up top as well. Right then, got these this cam carrier bearing thing. What is the technical term for that? I don't even know. Cleaned off now. Got these two sort of camshaft bearings in. They're actually not bad condition, them, to be honest. They're out of the courier because they obviously have done 90,000 miles attached to the camshaft out of the courier. Plus the ones in this were fucked, but yeah, they fit nicely. The little tabs are located well. That's obviously stops the bearings spinning instead of sort of staying put and allowing the camshaft to turn sort of within the bearing. Yeah, I'll get these three plopped in and then that's that. So we'll just clean this one off the same. Backside as well. And slip it in. Before the cam goes in, I'm obviously going to coat all these with engine oil. Make sure they're nice and lubricated before the cam goes in. That's that. Get the rest done. I've got all these shell bearings in. I've put the buckets and shims in. The other half of the bearing is obviously on the cam cap itself. Yeah, in there, they'll get a good clean before they're bolted on. The only problem we're going to have is, because these aren't hydraulic lifters, to set the valve clearance on these, we've got to, well, these shims in the top, they come out. So I need to find out what the valve clearance is meant to be. And then we may have to rearrange some. I've got obviously some off this head, but I've kept the shims with these buckets for now because we don't know what the situation is going to be. Hopefully there's only one or two that need adjusting, but obviously you've got to put the camshaft in, bolt it all down, and then get the feeler gauges underneath, check each one. So there's going to be pen and paper involved, and then yeah, if there's any that need adjusting, strip it out, set a feeler, vernier calipers, measure the thickness, and obviously, yeah, a lot of fucking around till we get it right. One thing that'll be worth putting back in is this piston, shall we say, for the vacuum pump. Just sits in there before the camshaft is bolted in. Otherwise it's going to have no servo on the brakes, no vacuum for any fucking solenoids or whatever we've got. So yeah, it's not on my trolley anymore. And then we just sort of feed that into there, drop it in, and then sort of line it up. I think we want it there with the flat bar across. Lovely. Okay, so valve clearance is obviously the engine needs to be cold, and the inlet between 0.3 and 0.4 millimeters, exhaust 0.45 and 0.55 millimeters. I'm going to go for the inlets first, which are this one, and this one. The exhaust is this one, obviously there in line with that exhaust port on the exhaust manifold. So I've already checked this first one. This is the 0.3. It doesn't quite fit. If we try and sort of slip it under there, it is well tight. So the next one down, 0.28. Oh, yeah, 0.28. Fits alright. Is that close enough? It's close enough to 0.3, isn't it? So yeah, I'm just going to do that along the rest of them and write down what we've got. And got all my measurements. There's only one cylinder that would be happy leaving as it is. Cylinder 1, which is at 0.28 and 0.45. The exhaust valve is within tolerance. Inlet is 0.02 of a millimetre away. The rest are quite a bit out, 0.1, 0.08, 0.08. Exhaust there is 0.15, 0.15, 0.1. Luckily, I've got some shims off. They're off the original head. They've all got sizes stamped on the back. So as long as I can do some basic mathematics, should be able to get this somewhere close. I am expecting to have to shave some down, a bit of emery paper on a flat surface and just rub it across, but yeah, we'll see if we can get away without having to do it. And it's lacking these cam caps off, try and get the shims out of. I'm going to do these 3 first, and then if we need to do that, and we'll do that. And lovely. Right then, I've got the inlet bucket and shim out on cylinder 4, and it's good news. This is the biggest number we've had so far. So to get this 0.22 to within tolerance, between 0.3 and 0.4, we need to add 0.1 of a millimetre, which would take it to 0.32, which will be within tolerance, which means we need to take away 0.1 of a millimetre from this, which would give us 3.975. And if we look here, fucking boom, a 3.975. Get in there. So if we remove that out of there, we can keep it there. It doesn't matter if we get it mixed up, because obviously the size is stamped on it. And if we put that one in there and pop this back, in here, that should now be within tolerance. Obviously I'm going to check them all once we've swapped them all out, and I'm just going to put a tick there so I know I've done that one. 1 down, 6 to go, maybe 8 to go, depends how we get on, how easy it's going to be. If it's as easy as that one, then I'll try and do all 8. Right, I've managed to get all but one of these within tolerance now, and the one that isn't in tolerance now is the only one that wasn't in tolerance when we first started. Fucking hell, who would have thought it, eh? Although with the way this car's been, yeah, I'm surprised we got any intolerance, so I'll take that as a win. Now, it had a 3.925 on the top of this bucket, and it was already at 0.45. So if we knock a millimetre off, 3.825, that puts it at the high end of the tolerance, 0.55. The closest I've got is a 3.8. So I think I'm just going to chuck that in, and it'll be, what will it be? 0.25 or 0.025 millimetres over tolerance, which is fucking now, is it really? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I can't be arsed fucking sanding any of these down. I haven't got a reliable set of vernier calipers to measure them, so yeah, chuck a 3.8 in, and that's that. Right, I think we're on the home straight now. I've got this belt on, pulleys are all nipped up, injectors are in, fuel rails on, this coolant sort of outlet is on, coolant pipe there is on, exhaust is bolted up, EGR cooler is on. I've just had, hopefully, the final arse clenching moment of this build, shall we say. Was putting the rocker cover on, trying to put the camshaft sensor in, and I did have this plate on because it was a lot cleaner, but if you notice, there was no cutout in it for the cam sensor, so I was shitting myself thinking, oh, I hope the fucking camshaft isn't different as well. But if we look sort of where it's at, I think it sits on this cam lobe, so it reads off the lobe rather than a separate sort of casting along the camshaft. So fingers crossed, we've got some luck finally. Next time you see me, I think I'll be turning the key. Right then, we're getting very close to turning the key. I've got the old engine oil draining. I've just got some 530. It's not the right spec, but it'll do. It's only going to be in it just to run it up. Hopefully flush it through a little bit. And then I've got the right oil and filter in there. I've turned the engine over by hand and made sure the timing marks, timing tools go back in the way they should, and it's all good. I've got the injectors unplugged, so when I crank it, obviously it's not going to fire up. We're going to get a bit of oil circulating, hopefully some fuel pressure building, because them fuel lines have been disconnected. But I've got a feeling we're going to have a nightmare trying to start it. Yeah, at the old spot I used to work, one of the lads there were doing a service, obviously changed the fuel filter. It was on a 1.8 TDCI, I think it was a Galaxy or an S-Max, and fucking hell, the nightmare we had trying to get it going again, because obviously we've introduced air in. Oh, these 1.8s do not like it. Obviously we filled the fuel filter up with, I can't remember if it was diesel or with a fuel cleaner. Tried sucking fuel through with like a vacuum pump right through to the fuel filter, still wouldn't have it. Brake cleaner, tried sort of getting it going on brake cleaner, can't remember what did it in the end, but yeah, he spent most of the fucking day trying to get it going. So I've got a feeling we're going to be flattening this battery again. I just charged it up last night because I knew, it was flat. But yeah, we'll get this sump plug back in now, brand new oil in it, and then yeah, I'll come back when we're ready to crank. We've got oil halfway up the dipstick. I haven't put any coolant in because it's yeah, if I do get it running, it's going to be running less than 30 seconds. So here goes nothing. Oh, I don't know if that battery's proper fucked. It almost went, didn't it? Right, I've got injectors plugged back in now. I've just cracked one of the injectors off, number 4. I've had to put the boost pack on because I think this battery is fucked. Hopefully we can just get it going. Oh. So we've got diesel there, I don't know if you can see it, dripping. We're getting diesel up to the injectors now, so hopefully nip this up. I do need to sort this glow plug wire fucking seized, so when I try to split it, I think the other end's over here somewhere. Yeah, this is the one off the courier, because the one on this was rotten, but it's warm enough, it shouldn't need the glow plugs to start. Right, come on, sounds alright when turning over. Oh, yes. Oh, almost. Come on, you beauty. Looks like I was wrong. I think it did need a bit of glow plug. I've just proper fucking cowboyed these together, look. Just a bit of Morley's. I need to obviously rectify that, but she's just started up fucking lovely. Oh, yes. Result. And that's me for the day. Beauts. So, thanks for watching. It sounds fucking sweet, this engine. Obviously it's only ran for a minute, but yeah, when this sells, yeah, it'll be worth the work. I've got fucking bits to put back on. I've left the timing cover off because I want to make sure the seals, crank seal, cam seal and the fuel pump seal are nice and dry. When I was doing my research, apparently there's a tool you've got to get to line the fucking cover up. Now I just used the crank pulley, obviously a couple of bolts in the cover to hold it sort of in position, whizzed the crank pulley in, did it up, and that's sort of centered the cover around the seal, hopefully. That's my theory anyway. Obviously if I was to do the cover up and then put the crank pulley on, there's a chance the seal could be sort of offset, and that's when you end up with leaks. But yeah, for now I'm not running it anymore today, it's home time. So cheers for watching, and see you in the next Deplete the Fleet. Bye.